Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Please excuse my wet appearance. I just got out of the shower. Anyway, I just got finished reading, well, before my shower, the infamous Iron Man. Now, this is the first issue, and this was, to be expected, a fantastic issue. Now, unfortunately, this is one of those issues that is going to require a lot of backstory, and I don't like those kinds of issues. Fortunately, I'm not walking into this blind. If you've been reading the Civil War II stories and the Invincible Iron Man Volume 2 series, then you're going to have a better idea of what's going on. And an even better idea yet would be from also reading the International Iron Man series. Yeah, Iron Man's like my least favorite Marvel character for the most part of the main characters, and somehow this guy's got series and storylines and all this crazy stuff going on. Well, he's about to be replaced, and I'm not any worse for wear for it. Yeah, pretty soon Ironheart Riri is supposed to come out, and she's going to be the new Iron Man, and apparently she's actually going to replace Iron Man, hopefully for the long run, just like Thor was replaced, just like Hulk was replaced, just like Spider-Man is, well, not really replaced, but hey, who doesn't like Miles Morales? Okay, so we're actually going to start off before the Second Civil War. And more than that, we're actually kind of starting off before the final incursion, where Marvel 616 and 1610 have actually merged. That's the standard Marvel universe and the Ultimate Universe, where they merged and became one, and all sorts of crazy good stuff started happening. So what happens here is that Doctor Doom is sitting down, and he's got Emma Frost and Loki and the Hood and Namor, the Submariner, and they're all waiting for Norman Osborn to show up. Now, the Hood starts asking, because he's not the smartest guy in the room, not by a long shot. I mean, Namor looks like a rocket science compared to this guy, so, you know. Anyway, he starts asking Doom, listen, I read some old texts because my powers are based in mysticism, and you've got a good hand in mysticism yourself. And I was reading in some old texts that you had actually managed to go down into hell or another dimension and fight a higher demon, Mephisto specifically, and reclaim the soul of your mother, and you actually beat the demon. Is this true? And Doom just kind of stares at him. His legacy speaks for himself. He doesn't need to brag about the things that he does. I know in the old comics he did, but that's kind of an unspoken retcon. Doom doesn't need to brag about anything. You know the things that he did. And if you heard a legend of Doom, rest assured, it's not a legend. It's legendary. So, yeah, he just kind of stares at him. He just asks, he's like, listen, man, I'm completely on your side. Like, if you've got that kind of power, I just want to know, because that's amazing. And he says, yes, I did. Now will you stop your endless prattling? He doesn't really get the point, and he starts asking more questions. And Emma Frost actually at one point says, listen, Hood, in case you can't understand the social connotations of Doom's glare of doom, please understand that he's getting ready to kill you right now if you don't shut up. Well, he doesn't take the social cue, and he continues asking, but he asks a really good question. He says, listen, you've got the power to beat a demon, so you're not in this for the power. You're the sovereign ruler of a country, a pretty, wealthy country. I mean, you're probably richer than every single one of us in this room put together. And mind you, Namor of Atlantis is there. So, yeah, it could potentially actually be true. And he's got wealth and all these things that Doom's got. So the question is, what is he doing all of this for? Well, apparently that was a good enough question that he decided to kill the Hood. Okay, he doesn't actually kill the Hood. He just banishes him to India. He'll eventually make his way back. It's just, he won't be here for this meeting. Excellent, excellent. You can't argue with any display of Doom's power. He just magically, boop, you're gone, bye. Purple beams from his hands, and lovely, lovely. But it does leave a really important question. Why is he doing this? Well, fast forward to today, and Doom had come back already. His face is pristine as, it used to be before all the horrible scarring, and he's been helping Iron Man to avert world-shattering disasters for no quite obvious reason. So, they'd gone back and forth on and off, for several times. Also, Iron Man is faking his death at this point. Mind you, these are all things and events that are happening outside of this comic. So in the comic, we see that Diablo, he's an old school Fantastic Four villain. His powers are in alchemy, and he made the Dragon Man. And basically, he just captured the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., Maria Hill. And if he killed her, I wouldn't be too upset. I've never really liked Maria Hill, especially since the onset of the first Civil War. Yeah, just no. I don't like brash, headstrong people like that. It's probably why I don't like Iron Man too much either. So he's trying to get all sorts of secret codes and access and information out of Maria Hill with a truth serum that actually causes pain if you don't answer. He never gets to actually administer it to her because Dr. Doom shows up. And he basically completely calls out Diablo as a second-rate villain, if he even qualifies as second-rate. Diablo goes at it back and forth with him. He throws some minor demons at him. Doom instantly just, get out of here with that stuff. He laughs at him, literally. And at one point, Diablo says, I think that I need to rescar up that pretty face of yours. And Doom kills him. Oh no, this time he actually kills the guy. It's not like, teleporting to India. No. He actually kills Diablo. I mean, unless they retcon that later on. But for now, it appears as though he actually disintegrates him right then and there on the spot. So, yeah, we're not really missing much. Diablo didn't really do much. So Maria Hill is rescued, and Doom mentions, you should probably not say anything about this because a second cut-rate villain like Diablo capturing the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., yeah, they're going to have more questions than answers, and you're going to be really embarrassed and walked out of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I would keep this on the low. And she probably does. She probably does. Now, with the new Invincible Iron Man series that came out, 2 years ago, Dr. Amara Pereira had showed up. She's this doctor who apparently she made a cure for mutants, but she didn't actually want to give it out because of what it entails. That's cool. That's cool. We've dealt with that storyline before. So it was mostly just a side thought where she mentions that, well, now she's trying to cure Alzheimer's. You go, girl. We don't need any more notebook incidents. Well, Tony wound up developing a serious crush on this girl. He professed his love to her and all that good stuff. Yeah. And she doesn't want to hear it, especially after he faked his death, even made her believe that he faked his death. So Tony's gone. He's been outed. He's ghost, essentially. And Dr. Doom basically tells an AI version of Tony Stark, who shows up and warns him, hey, get out of here, especially you, get out of here. And he's like, yeah, there's really not anything you can do to me. I mean, let's be realistic. And Stark even acknowledges. He's like, why are you even here? I mean, for crying out loud. When push comes to shove, you know that you'd be able to figure out every single thing that's in here eventually. So, good nod. It's very rare for Tony Stark to acknowledge that someone else is smarter than him. For him to do that with Dr. Otto Octavius, back when Octavius was still alive, before the current clone situation, yeah, it actually took him threatening to blow up everything for Stark to acknowledge something like that. So for him to just outright do that to Doom, I think it's a pretty good show of respect. But regardless, now it seems that Dr. Doom has a little crush thing going on Dr. Amara because she reminds him of someone that he once knew. And I could see that. Granted, his ex was a gypsy, so maybe that's what he's referring to. And she is from Sri Lanka. Now, there could be a resemblance there in some way, shape, or form. Not totally sure. Like I said, I think that's what they're actually pushing towards. Either way, I like it. I'm not complaining about this. This is good stuff. I could see them actually fighting over him and Tony Stark fighting over the same woman in a way. Sometimes you have to add a little soap opera to the comics for it to be all inclusive, So that seems to be the case. And mind you, he's actually able to teleport right now. But so he told Iron Man, Tony Stark, the AI, I'm going to replace you. I'm going to be the new Iron Man. And he actually forms up suit in his body, and he now looks like a version of Iron Man. He's the infamous Iron Man. And then here he's leaning in like they're about to kiss each other, and she's actually very receptive. And then all of a sudden somebody walks in, so he teleports. Boom, he's gone. Almost like he was a dream to her. And that's cool. That's cool. I'm digging that. So guy walks in and says, excuse me, are you Dr. Amara Pereira? And she says, yes, who are you? Oh, and it's Ben Grimm. Excuse me, agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., Ben Grimm, and he wants to know about the whereabouts of Dr. Doom. Well, this is really good stuff. I am madly in love with what they have the potential to do here. Seeing Dr. Doom still apparently inverted, or just not, maybe just on his own, doesn't want to be that guy anymore, recognizes the fault of his ways. If you remember the Secret Wars comics where he had that final confrontation with Reed Richards, I think that was one of the most beautiful, heartwarming things ever, where at the end you realize what Reed Richards actually became in this. And Doom, ultimate powers, facing off against Richards, and he finally says, I know that you would have done this better than me. That was good. And I never have to see Reed Richards again, at least until Marvel acquires the rights back from Fox, which, come on, it's got to happen eventually, right? Please, God, hear me above, please. Anyway, so seeing what they have the potential to do here, I am hooked and I'm done. Guys, this is Comic Book University, Professor Bell, class dismissed.